everyone, welcome back to This Old Kitchen. It has been and will be a busy morning already. It's about 9:30. I am about this close to getting my second cup of coffee because I've got a lot to do. The cat threw up on the floor, so I need to clean the carpet. We had a horrible windstorm last night, so we've had some issues with the covering on the chicken coop, so I need to kind of repair that until we can get that fixed. And I am going to look for chicken coop plans. I think we're going to have to rebuild our chicken coop next year, or at least my husband wants to. I don't want to because I love the effort that he put into it, but he wants to do that. So I'm going to look for some chicken coop plans. I've got a whole bunch of baking to do today. I've got a whole bunch of bread that I need to get done. My sourdough, because it's been cold at night, even though putting it in my oven with my oven light on, my starter is not rising. So I need to give it a little bit of care today so I can get that baked and ready to send off to my extended family. So first, I am actually going to do kind of an all-day cheat chicken verde soup. We had the chicken pot pie this week and my husband loved it. Absolutely loved it. Me, with the issues that I've got, did not settle well with my stomach. So he's going to finish off the chicken pot pie for the third day, I think. Yeah, third day. And I'm going to have chicken verde soup tonight for dinner. So I'm going to get that started. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pre-cooked or pre-chopped, onion, and we're going to toast up some onion. You can just toss that right in there. And then I've got my chicken stock that I made this week for, yes, Kitty, I know, threw up all over the floor. Some chicken stock that I made earlier in the week from the chicken pot pie. So that is ready to go. I've got some extra stock here if I need it. I have got my green chili, hatch chili salsa that I'm going to be putting in there. I do love corn in my soup, so I'm going to get some corn. I've got some cilantro lime rice that I put in there, which is fantastic. I don't put the rice in right away, but I do put the corn in right away, and I do put the chili in right away just because I like those flavors to develop. We have got some adobo seasoning, some cumin, and bay leaf. So we're going to go ahead and get those onions browned and then toss everything in, and I'll show you what I do. No, I don't put any kind of oil or anything in my onions. I try to not use oils and butters and things like that when I'm frying something that is naturally has liquid in it. I don't know what word I'm trying to think of. Anyway, so I just try to use that. I do love onions in my soup. I like them a little bit bigger just because I love the taste of onion. But I don't try to put any kind of oils or butters in there unless I'm trying to enhance their flavor. And these are sweet onions, so they've got a lot of flavor already. So we're going to just lightly sweat those down. We're not going to get any color on them or anything like that. I'm just going to lightly sweat them down, defrost them, and let them do just a slow cook for about 5 minutes. All right, second cup of coffee made. Have you guys ever tried whipped cream on your coffee instead of cream? This cocoa whip is non-dairy. It's made out of coconuts, but it tastes just like Cool Whip. And I put it on top of my coffee. I saw the young lady who does, yes, Kitty, the young lady who does Hopewell Heights, her vlog. She did that, and I thought, well, I can try that. And it is incredible. So on to my second cup of coffee. All right, so these onions have sweat down quite a bit. They don't smell like raw onions anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and put my seasoning in. My seasoning is going to be a teaspoon of cumin, a half a teaspoon, and I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of the adobo salt, the seasoned salt, just because I try not to put too much salt in my food per doctor's orders. All right, so a half a teaspoon of your adobo seasoning, all-purpose seasoning. And then I'm going to put 2 bay leaves in here. Now, when you're doing bay leaves, put bay leaves in everything. At least I do. And it adds a whole other layer of taste, but you don't want to eat your bay leaves. If you don't know about bay leaves or anything like that, they're fantastic for sauces. They give an earthy flavor to it, but you don't ever want to eat a bay leaf. It's poisonous if you eat it whole, but the residual liquid from it when you're stewing it is fantastic. All right, so I'm going to put in my chicken stock. And again, this is not all of my chicken stock. I have to save some for Thanksgiving, but that is part of what I made the other night. Get that in there, get that mixed around. And then I'm going to put in my Hatch salsa verde, if I can open it. Oh. And this really is fantastic. So this is my daughter's favorite soup that I make. But I am going to be making, I think, another bottle of water. I think I'm going to be making the roasted tomato soup next week. Oh, wait, not next week because my husband's gone for his birthday, I think. Birthday week. So I'm going to do a full jar of water in here just to get all of those seasonings out from the Hatch green chili. We're going to add our corn. Take a sip of coffee. And I don't add the chicken or the rice because I don't want it to get mushy until later. Now, with the corn, I put in even the liquid from the corn. It gives it another level of flavor, plus liquid. Okay. So we've got all that in there. Let me show this to you. All right. You can see that. Gorgeous, yellowy green, perfect soup. Now I'm going to let this simmer literally all day long. And then about 2 hours later, I will add my rice and my rotisserie chickens. Now, I have tried this 2 ways. I've done my own rice that I've made at home, and I've also done Uncle Ben's. I don't know if it's the same thing like with pre-shredded cheese and block cheese, but this does not get mushy in the soup, no matter how long you let it sit. If it sits there, in the refrigerator and you reheat it, it does not get mushy. Homemade rice does get mushy. I have not figured out why, but it does. So I just use Uncle Ben's, and this is the cilantro lime, again, adding another layer of flavor into that. So we're going to let this literally sit here all day long. It's about 9:30. I'll probably put the chicken and the rice in probably around, kitty, probably around 4 o'clock. Oh, the cats are fighting. Around 4 o'clock. And that way we can eat at 5. I add, when I'm bowling it and serving it, I add corn chips. I add shredded Monterey Jack cheese. I add sour cream for my husband. And if you want to add like jalapenos, something to kind of kick up the spice, definitely you can do that. Again, my husband does not like spice, So I kind of limit it on that. But we're going to let this sit here all day long and we'll get back to that. All right, so I got the carpet cleaned up. Yay, small feats. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to make fudge. This is going to be, I guess, kind of the beginning of preparing for Christmas. Like I've said in past videos, what I do is I take 1 week and I'll do a double batch of whatever Christmas cookie, butter cookie, sugar cookie, things like that, and I store them in my freezer, and that way when it's time to actually bake them and hand them out to neighbors and friends and family and things like that, you have everything already done and you're not spending 5 days in the kitchen. Now, I have 2 neighbors that I absolutely adore. I have family members, and so a lot of these cookies, a lot of these baked goods are going to go to them. So I want to get as much done as I can now. So I am going to start my Christmas videos, start filming them, start getting the cookie dough, and then get them all mashed together. But today we are going to make fudge. This is my husband's favorite. He has been asking for it for I don't know how long, and I'm just going to get it done and get it over with. I did not have time to go to the chocolate store, which is the one that I go to is, what is it called? Rocky Mountain chocolatier, Rocky Mountain Chocolate Store, and get some some chocolate from there. So I'm just going to be using the chocolate chips that I have in my house. That is going to be a mixture of semi-sweet and milk chocolate, but I am going to be adding in some instant espresso just to kind of amp up that flavor. We've got our water boiling here, so the first thing we're going to do is put our chocolate chips in. Now you don't want to, if you have a Dutch oven, that's fantastic. Definitely use it. I do not have one, so that looks probably about 2 cups. So I am just boiling some water, and I put one of my mixing bowls on top of it. Make sure that your water does not touch your bowl because your chocolate will scorch, and you don't want that. If you scorch your chocolate, you're done. You got to start over. So basically all we're going to do, this is a simple 3 ingredient fudge. It's very easy to make. You're going to get your chocolate melted down. You're going to want to use, if you're going to use chocolate bars or anything like that, you're going to want to use anything with a, I would say 70% higher cocoa content. That way you get a richer taste. And we're just going to keep turning it. Now you're going to want to have everything ready for this because it's very easy to scorch your chocolate and your fingers. All right, and you're just going to keep turning. Now, before you start this process, you're going to want to get your 8-inch pie pan or cake pan, brownie pan, and line it with some wax paper or parchment paper. If you use parchment paper, coat it lightly with butter or with a butter spray, just so the fudge does not stick to it. And if you get that done beforehand, then you're all set because you're literally going to be melting this chocolate, and you can melt in the microwave. If you melt your chocolate in the microwave, you're going to want to make sure that you're doing it at 30-second intervals. So you'll put it in for 30 seconds, take it out, and stir it. Let the residual heat on the chocolate that's already melted melt the rest of it, and just kind of keep going in a rotation like that. getting there. You can see that. I went to this, I'm gonna let that sit for a second. Next we're gonna use sweetened condensed milk. This stuff is amazing. It's completely different than evaporated milk, so don't use evaporated milk. You're gonna want to use sweetened condensed. And you're gonna want a can opener that actually works, that your husband doesn't use to open beer bottles. All right, so I'm going to turn this off. And that is just about done. Yes, ma'am. And we're going to get all of that in there. Now you can do, there's other recipes out there that use cocoa powder, that use sugar, and don't use chocolate chips, they use chocolate cocoa powder. You can definitely do that way. I'm just trying to save time. All right, so we're gonna get that mixed. Want to work fast because this does start to set pretty quickly. I don't know if you can see it, but it does look like it's starting to break, but this is what we're doing. All right. So you're going to have your waxed paper sheet pan, and you are just going to pour this in there. And then lick the bowl. Or if you have little kids, have the little kids lick the bowl. You're going to spread that out evenly. You stick this in the refrigerator. Let it cool, and then you'll cut it. And that's your fudge. Well, I put the fudge in the refrigerator to let it cool. Guess what I forgot? So it doesn't make a difference. It's still going to be fantastic. This just amps up your chocolate flavor. And you'll only add, just a teaspoon of the instant espresso. And again, it just amps up the flavor on the chocolate. You don't need, it doesn't make or break your fudge. You can add also nuts. You can do pecans, you can do walnuts, you can do almonds. You can do fudge inside of fudge if you want to do harder, like M&Ms or things like that. You can do coconut on top of it. You can do all kinds of things. So just try it out. It's super easy. It's not hard at all. All right, so the fudge has been in the refrigerator chilling now for about 2 hours. It still needs a lot more time. It's very soft, as you can see. Your fingerprint imprints on it. I am going to put some kosher salt on the top of it, just because I like sweet and salty. And we're going to put it back in the fridge. Okay, so one of the many things that I needed to do is my beets are officially done. These were the last two that I was waiting for to harvest. So I had harvest a bunch a couple weeks ago. Yes, I told you I love beets. Um, and I roasted these and then pickled them. And I liked them, but I didn't like that they weren't crunchy. So I'm going to take these last two and I'm just going to toss them in here just to see if I get a little bit of a different texture. Now I am going to peel these and then just chop them up and stick them in the pickled juice just to see again if it changes any of the texture, if it makes it a little bit crunchier, because that's what I like. I like the crunchy beets, pickled beets. I usually get the organic ones at the grocery store that come prepackaged, and those ones are nice and crunchy and I love them. So we'll see what these ones do. Next year I'm going to do, so this is, I think this was, I forgot which red beet that was. But next year I'm going to do, if you've ever seen them, they're either called candy stripes or candy canes, and they're a white beet with a, very similar to this, a pink swirl. And then also my sun beets, which I love. Those yellow sun beets. It's funny, growing up, my mom loved beets and I could not stand them. I just couldn't understand, why would you eat something that tastes like dirt? And she's like, well, it's very healthy for you. Albeit she used to get the canned beets. I don't think she ever grew them herself. I don't recall, but the canned beets I just couldn't get past. All right, so we've got those in there, so we're going to leave those in there for about a week, and then we'll try them and see how they do and just kind of go from there. That was okay. So the next thing, as you can see, it's been a very busy morning. I'm about to put that into the dishwasher. But the next cookie that we are going to make is from Sally's Baking Addiction, which again, I follow religiously. I think her recipes are simplified, they're amazing, and there's so much on her website that you can always find something that will suit you, like you, whatnot. Anyway, so I love shortbread cookies. I also Um, I I like sweets. I don't really like sweets, but I like more savory. My husband likes sweets. Obviously, the kids like sweets, but I love lemon. And so when I had made shortbread cookies last year for my husband, Scottish shortbread cookies. He is Scottish. So I try to do something like that, although I'm not making haggis. I don't care. I'm not doing it. But anyway, so I tried to think of an idea of incorporating lemon with the shortbread cookies, because really I just like lemon. And so I came across this recipe last year, and it's lemon shortbread with icing, and it is fantastic. So that's the first cookie that I'm going to make today, and let's get started. Okay, so don't mind the dishes in the background, although I think my husband's probably going to kill me. So we're going to start off, and this is a step that you cannot skip. We are going to start with 2 tablespoons of lemon zest and 2/3 cup of granulated sugar. I'm probably putting more white zest in here or rind in here than need be, but it is what it is. And then you'll use a zester for the end. Once you ice your cookies, you can put some lemon zest on top of the icing, and it is such a beautiful cookie. Oh, I lost that one. And that one. Okay. It's a good thing that my stomach's bothering me so I can have tea later on today. All right. And I always put extra just because I love, again, lemon. Lemon and basil, I feel like, are my go-to flavors for everything. All right, so next thing I'm going to put in here is going to be 2/3 cup sugar. Now, again, you don't want to mix or miss this part. Basically, what we're doing is making lemon sugar. 2/3. And we are going to pulse this until, no, never fails. And we're going to pulse this until that sugar is lemonified. And we're going to do that just a little bit more. If you had a smaller food processor, that probably would work a lot better than my blender. All right, that is good. And we're going to end up using this later because I'm going to do, I think, carrot cookies. All right, so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to take 2 sticks, 1 full cup of softened butter into your stand mixer, or you can use handheld. And we're going to add in our lemon sugar. Throw it all over your counter. All right, and with your paddle, you're going to put this on high for about 3 minutes. All right, that's been going for about 2.5 minutes, and we are going to add in our lemon juice and vanilla. You're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And then since I have fresh lemon juice, I'm just going to go ahead and use a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. And then mix that. You'll also want to make sure that you're scraping down your sides so everything incorporates. All right, next we are going to add in our flour. And that is going to be 2 cups flour. This is my 1/4 cup, so that's 2 cups. And then we're going to put in a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And then 1/8 of salt. That's about 1/8. Again, you're going to want to make sure that you are scraping down the sides. All right, so we are done. So what you're going to do next is these are going to be cut cookies. So you are going to take these out. You're going to roll them out on a silicone baking mat or something that's a clean countertop, whichever. And you're going to roll these out and then use cookie cutters on them. Now, I am going to be freezing these for the holidays. So I'm only going to make 1 batch and freeze the rest, and these can be frozen in the refrigerator for up to 3 months. And the lemon smells so good in these. So it is a tough dough, but it is a super soft dough. All right, so your lemon, oh, these flies. Your lemon shortbread cookies, they're going to go in the oven at 350 for about 14 to 15 minutes until they start to get just a light golden brown, and then they are done. All right, they've been in there for a little bit. And this is what you'll want to see, just a little brown around the edges. Now, I am not going to ice these just because it's not Christmas yet, but they're all frozen and or wrapped up and ready to go in the freezer. All right, so the next thing that we're going to make is going to be an Italian ricotta sugar or Italian ricotta cookie. This one's also going to have a nice little glaze on the top, and you can sprinkle some rainbow nonpareils on top of it. We are going to freeze this one as well. A lot of websites say that you can't freeze it, but you can freeze this cookie dough as well. You don't need to pre-cook it. You don't need to flash freeze or anything like that. So we're going to do it just like we did with the lemon cookies. We are going to mix the dough, and then we're going to roll it in wax paper, stick it in a freezer bag, and stick it in the freezer. We're going to start off here. We've got 4 cups of flour. We've got a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Get that all incorporated, and then we're going to start on our butter mixture. All right, the butter mixture is going to be 1 3/4 cup of sugar. And yes, I am reusing my bowl. "16 tablespoons, which is 2 sticks of butter, a full cup. Make sure that that is room temperature, and you're going to get that creamy in the mixer for about, it usually takes about 6 minutes. All right, that is nice and creamed. Next, we're going to put in 2 eggs. We're going to do it one at a time. Look at that gorgeous yellow. All right, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And then we're going to do 15 ounces of ricotta cheese. Now, this is a 32-ounce container, so I'm only going to use half of it. That looks about half. Get that fully incorporated and mixed, making a mess of my mixer. Let's scrape down the sides. Make sure we've got everything in there. Okay, we'll get that mixed a little bit more. Now, if you have a guard for your KitchenAid mixer, I would definitely suggest using it. I have one, I just have no idea where my daughter put it. All right, so next we are going to slowly put in our flour, baking soda, salt, and baking powder mixture. All right, for these ones, I think I'm actually, because it is such a high volume cookie, I'm going to freeze them in 2 batches. It's really super simple to put these in wax paper. Basically, all you're going to do is just compress them like this, and then you'll want to take off the wax paper. Make sure they're all even on the inside, and then re-roll it. And that way there's no creases. And there you go. And you'll want to smush it together just very gently to make sure that there's no air bubbles. All right, for your ricotta cheese cookies, these are ready. I definitely could have put this one into 2 sections. That's probably going to be a little bit of a nightmare to get out of there. But when you are thawing this out, you do need to make sure that you are thawing this completely. And before you cook it, you can't slice it as frozen like you can with sugar cookies or with lemon shortbread cookies. This is going to freeze for 3 months. Bake it at 350 for 8 to 10 minutes. And then don't forget your glaze. All right, so we have got 4 recipes done today. I think I'm going to call it for the day. I may add on, but I'm not sure. So today, just to recap what we did, we have our chicken chili soup that has been boiling. It's about 2:30, and I have got to sit down because my back is killing me. Again, at about 4 o'clock, I'm going to put the chicken in. I'm going to put the rice in, and then to serve it, shred some Monterey Jack cheese onto the bottom of your bowl. Break up some tortilla chips onto your bowl, and then pour your soup in, and you're good to go. You can add sour cream if you want. You can add jalapenos if you want. Whatever you want to do to add more spice if you want more spice. And then just enjoy it. It's a really good soup. Oh, we did our lemon shortbread cookies. We did our ricotta cheese cookies. And then we did our fudge. Can't talk too loud because the husband is in there sleeping, but that is a surprise for him for tonight. And got all of our chores done as far as the animals. Now I've got to do this chore so I can sit down and relax. All right, so soup time is ready. I'm going to start out with some tortilla chips at the bottom of the bowl. And I usually put some shredded Monterey Jack at the bottom as well. That way when you put the soup in it, it melts it. But I don't have any, so I'm not putting it in there. I'm making a mess. All right, so there it is, your green chili chicken soup. Simmering all day long and looks amazing. And relax. I hope you guys have a good night. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I would love additional followers. I would love your feedback. If you have any questions, any criticisms, whatever, please definitely let me know. I'm always looking to learn more and to express more. If there's something specific you want to see from me, if there's a recipe you want to see, if there is something on the farm that you want to see, just let me know. Have a great day. Bye-bye.